If you are new to art, you may have had this thought go through your head of everything I make completely sucks. And you're not alone. Every single person who has ever sat down to create something, typically as an adult, has sat there and said, this sucks. But when you're a kid, for some reason you don't do that, right? There's that little thing in your head that's still fresh enough, I guess, that when you make that crayon masterpiece when you're 3 years old and your mom hangs it up on the fridge, that is the greatest thing you have ever made. I think for a lot of us, getting back to that feeling can be really, really hard. And instead of seeing beautiful art and thinking, wow, I can do that someday, a lot of times we get into that comparison trap. And we see maybe a gorgeous painting. Like the other day, I just went to an exhibit of Homer Winslow's watercolors. And as a watercolor artist, I'm looking at that thinking like, oh, I can never be that good. My stuff looks awful. While I'm at that exhibit, I'm also trying to look at the pieces and sort of reframe my mind, because he sucked when he started. Everybody sucked when you started. I've seen the first available drawings from some of the most famous artists in history. And when you look at it, you're like, wow, we were all really bad once. So instead of coming from that area of compare and despair, think about it instead of coming from the area of possibility. So when I'm looking at Homer Winslow's watercolors, I'm not looking at it as I could never do that. I'm looking at it instead of how did he use the light right there? Or what did he do in this little section here? What was that texture he used? I'm looking at something that is possible. It's there, it's down on paper, which means somebody was able to learn that and get to a point where they were able to create that, which means I can do that too, because all it takes is time and repetition and skill to be able to do it. Because contrary to what a lot of people think, in my mind, art is absolutely not a talent. Art is repetition. And maybe the talent comes from the desire to repeat things that much, but if anything, that's the only talent that's involved. Everything else is just things that you can learn and pick up someplace and you can apply to your own work and your own creativity. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that helps. And if you have any other questions like that, feel free to drop them down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.